Jinx is an iconic character, so it's no wonder that she has first dibs on getting into the League of Legends fighting game 2xKO. But she might actually be the best zoner they could have actually added. Jinx is easily one of the most recognizable League characters. If you've played the game for a long time, you know who Jinx is. She's like the Harley Quinn, likable, crazy asshole. One of my first experiences getting to know this character was my friend in literally like 2016 or something, sending me the Get Jinxed music video, which is, by the way, a banger, because Riot Music Team, they just don't miss. They never miss, which is one of the only teams on Riot that doesn't miss. Balance team, I'm looking at you. I'm really looking at you. The champion came out in 2013. I started playing League in 2016. And now, 2025, with 2xKO's release, she's going to be in the fighting game. She's going to be playable. It's honestly really sick. So we recently got her gameplay trailer, and after literally seeing her and Katarina in the early builds of Project L, we're finally getting to see what that gameplay actually looks like. It looks like she's changed a lot since the days where it was called Project L, so we're going to have a lot to look at now for what abilities they were inspired by. Another important thing to note is that she's heavily inspired by the TV show on Netflix, Arcane, because she's one of the main characters in it, and so the adaptation is going to take a lot of inspiration from that show as well as League of Legends. For the game of League of Legends, when you think of Jinx, you probably either think of the double lift pentakill in pro play, or you think of your friend running that shit down because Jinx has no movement and every other ADC has movement, but your team has no peel. She got buffed, but her buff doesn't matter because even though her passive resets really fast and she runs really fast, nobody plays her because why would you play her over someone that has self-peel or self-movement in solo queue? And if those are your thoughts, I would be inclined to agree with you because she's honestly, in my opinion, pretty power crept in League, and she's usually only meta or really good when either her damage is going crazy or when it's a peel meta for bot lane. When it would be, if she's not usually that strong in League, why is she one of the best characters to pick for a zoner in 2xKO? Good question, little fetus baby. This is a good question. Zoners have mega cancer in League, okay? They do. They're called ranged characters. They usually have a moveset heavily focused on their auto attacks, pew pew pew, okay? Which you can basically think of like a single bullet coming out of a Nerf gun. I'm not getting demonetized. I don't even have monetization. What am I yapping about? The more items that a character gets, the more bullets will come out of that Nerf gun at a faster rate. Then boom, you're doing insane damage, and the longer the game goes on, the more pellets and bullets come out, and the stronger you are. That's the basics of how an attack damage carry or an ADC works in League of Legends at a conceptual level. They're, you know, the ranged characters designed to sit back and do as much damage as possible in League, and they're supposed to be really easy to kill. They are the most likely to be the zoners in fighting games. If I'm being honest, you can translate their kits to 2xKO, but you're gonna have to do a lot of reaching to get unique moves, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff you'll have to make up. Oh, no, but Vayne has silver bullets and a crossbow, and she can roll and tumble around, and she has a move that pushes him away. No, okay? Buddy, really think about this for a second, okay? Vayne, the characters like Vayne, do not have much you can really pull from League on its own, okay? League as the source material, like their abilities and their gameplay. Because you're gonna be making up a lot of new moves when characters have that simple of a kit. And you're like, oh, but she's a hard character. Relax, okay? I know why you play bot lane. You're complaining right now because you horny picked some random character, and now you're stuck in this role that you think is very skillful when it's really not. I got League trauma, bro. But okay. Bullcrap aside, these characters tend to have kind of simple designs because, you know, their kits are focused around dishing out the most damage as possible, scaling to the late game, and getting lots of DPS off. And so they tend to be harder to pilot, but their moveset ends up being kind of that simple because it's all about supplementing those auto attacks. There's obviously exceptions, like, you know, characters like Samira. Typically the characters are deemed pretty hard to pilot, but yes, they have those like simplistic kits compared to some other characters. Now for my point, Jinx is a bit different from a character like Vayne because her kit, I love the Vayne slander, because her kit translates super well into 2xKO. She already has pretty unique moves for an ADC, and just on League design alone, there's a lot of gadgets and gizmos and bullcrap that they can pull into the fighting game. Then you add arcane, lore, her music video Get Jinxed, and all this stuff is just so much like heavy material to pull from to get inspiration and create her moveset. Jinx's League passive is called Get Excited, which is just grants her a lot of movement speed and attack speed anytime she kills one of those larger units. And this ability would be pretty difficult, to be honest, to transfer to the fighting game, and it looks like in the trailer that they didn't even really try to. I think a way they could have implemented this though is if they give her more movement speed if she hits certain range attacks from neutral, letting her, like, you know, she shoots the gun, she hits a zap, and then boom, she gets like 2 seconds of a lot of movement speed or something. I think that could actually be pretty unique. Turning her into like a rushdown character if she actually gets one of those ranged hits off certain abilities. I think that's an interesting idea. They didn't really seem to go with that though. Jinx's Q ability lets her swap between a minigun for fast single target damage and a rocket launcher for AoE damage. And this definitely made it into the fighting game because it's a big staple part of her design, and I'm really not surprised, right? The way the minigun works in the trailer looks a little bit like Gold Loose if you could launch them with it if it actually hits into a full combo, which looks really strong. And then for the rockets, it looks like there's multiple versions of them. One being a regular full screen fireball like Ryu style, which we don't actually have in 2XKO yet, interestingly enough. Then I see a rocket for up close use in combos, which is pretty sick. She literally did it in the air in the trailer. Her W ability is called Zap, which is a straight line of electricity that after you charge it for like a second, it comes out and slows the enemy on hit. It's subtle, but you can actually see it used in the trailer and obviously in League. It's the little blue pistol that she has. That's what does the electricity. Now it's hard to tell because she combos that little zap into like 3 abilities at once. But I think that blue stun on Echo is the after effect of getting hit with the Zap pistol. I think that just makes the most sense to me. It's either that or it's the drone monkey. And that gives her a lot of combo ability, which is definitely very strong. It literally stuns them in the air. Her E ability are these 3 Chomper robots in League that stay there and explode after a few seconds, rooting the enemy, getting them stuck in place. It's like setting a trap for space control, basically. In 2XKO, it looks like you can only pop one out that bounces right in front of her, and if it hits the enemy, it explodes them into the air for follow-ups. You can also pop it above her, up in the air, to cover an air approach. Her ultimate, which is her R in League of Legends, is a big kaboomy, kabloomy, doomy fireball, okay? And it's that big fat rocket that you saw in Arcane, okay? No spoilers, it's Season 1, relax. And in League, it's just that big obese fireball. I mean, a big obese fireball rocket ball, okay? It's just her super, basically, in the fighting game. That's how all the League characters work. They just put their ultimate as the super. For stuff that's actually new and not taken from her League kit, we see this weird hammer that I've never seen before, which probably is just going to be for combos, to be honest. In the trailer, that's the only thing it was used for. I think it makes sense. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense, actually, to use, because the way 2XKO works, you're always trying to synergize with your team, and if one character is only zoning, say, like, Fairy, right, in Granblue from far away, and that's how you're even hitting a lot of your combos. It just doesn't make sense for this kind of game, because if you're heavy zoning and you're not going in close for any combos, it might make a weird gameplay loop where you're not really synergizing with your teammate. Unless you're double zoners, I guess. But I think it's a smart move to give some of the ranged guys some melee visuals in that sense, other than just slapping people with their gun, you know? Having something that you can actually hit them with makes a lot of sense. There's also this little tambourine monkey, which was a huge part of the Get Jinxed music video, and even made an appearance in Arcane, and now it's just like a big part of her design, right? The frickin' monkeys. Like, they added just a bunch of monkey things which aren't even in League, which is pretty funny. She pops it out like the little flying drone, the monkey, and it reminds me again of Gold Lewis. And it looks like if you get a hit with another ability, you can actually combo it into it by kicking the flying drone into the enemy, which makes for combo ability from further away, which is very strong. She's honestly super unique and faithful to her League counterpart, and they mixed her League, music video, and arcane representations in a really amazing way to make her character in 2XKO. On a personal note, you might realize this, I don't like ADC players, okay? And I really don't like zoners. Personally, because I just want to get into the close range fight. Like, stop being a pussy. Stop hitting me from far away. Let's box. I think she was really tastefully designed, and I think it's going to be a very fun time to play her for anyone regardless of your actual playstyle. So to me, Jinx feels like a mix of characters like Gold Lewis with the drone and the minigun, or even Fairy or Faust throwing out their little dookie babies to cover a bunch of space, and then using those long-range tools to get hits that can move her in for a combo, which is more akin to Dragon Ball Fighter style, right? Where you're zoning tools, say you're playing like Frieza, you're controlling neutral, and then moving into close range for your actual hits and combos. Jinx honestly has a lot going on. They definitely gave it their all with how they could adapt her moveset here. I really love seeing this as someone who wants to see the League characters brought to life in a more expressive way. This might sound weird to some of you, but I feel like fighting games are the ultimate representation of character control because of the amount of moves and buttons you're able to have, which just makes the mastering the characters even more enjoyable to me. If they keep up designs like this, I think the roster is going to end up being just a complete banger if they give this much care to every single character. I think that is why Jinx is one of the absolute best zoners they could have picked for 2XKO. So yeah, have a good one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video.